Welcome to Bus Speakers. I'm Kush,
And I'm Alex.
and today we're going to be reviewing PAX by Your Old Droog. Your Old Droog is a Brooklyn-based rapper, actually from Ukrainian descent, and I think this is his second album he's released, and he's gotten a lot of hype just because of his intense lyricism and old school-esque production. Uh,
Yeah.
it He's been compared to Nas a lot, which I wouldn't put him that high up. Well, depends which kind of Nas you're talking about, but he does have a similar lyricism and style to that. Personally, I thought this was a pretty solid album. There were a couple songs that were forgettable, and a couple stylistic things that I had a problem with. But overall, I think he can definitely flow. He can definitely rhyme. His lyrics are just out of this world. I think he's one of the better ones that I've heard this year, and I enjoyed most of this album quite a bit.
Yeah, same. Well, people are comparing him to Nas. Nasty Nas. Okay, that's a bit out of left field for me. But I did catch the old school production a little bit. It sounded like some mid-90s Tupac in a way. I don't know why, it's just the fresh, kind of beat heavy production style is kind of something that isn't in use much anymore. It's more atmosphere driven in a way now, if you agree. I'm not the most well versed in hip hop in general.
Well, I mean, with the more lyrical hip hop, it's always been kind of more ambient. But if you want to trap music like Migos, it's all about the beat.
True.
It's all about the beat.
Yeah, so I did like this album. It was funny, self-conscious, and smart, just like me. Nah, not really. But, so that was not necessary. That was not relevant. Anyway, I have to admit that I did not know he was a white rapper, and that we'll talk about the song "White Rapper's a Good Guest" in a minute. But I thought he was black until I looked up pictures of him, and I was like, damn. So I had to rewrite my notes for that song because I know it in a different context now. But yeah, I really like this album, and I'm gonna check out more of his stuff soon.
So one overarching thing I noticed is that in a lot of his production, he has a background vocalist, guest vocalist that kind of they don't say anything, but they're there just kind of using melody with their voice. He also has a lot of turntable glitches, like record scratching and stuff like that. Which I noticed. I don't know if you know, but there's a rapper named Apathy that I like a lot.
I don't know him.
Well, he does that all the time in his music. He has record scratching and that, and so he's been known to be more of an old school-esque rapper. Like they say the modern old school for him, and I think that this is a lot of influence from that. I don't know if he even knows the guy or even listens to the guy, but there's a lot of parallels, especially with the way he flows and his lyrical play and stuff like that. So that was one of the influence I saw for sure on this album.
Yeah. So track-wise, I mean, there wasn't a really bad one. I mean, we could talk quickly about the skits and how this comedian guy pretended to be a radio host, kind of connecting these all together, I guess.
I just thought it was unnecessary. I didn't see a point to it, and it didn't really add anything. It was kind of like he needed something to, because I would say more recently the skits have gotten popular in rap music, with Kendrick Lamar's "To Pimp a Butterfly" and even "Good Kid, Mad City," to even now, even with the Big Sean had his intro skit with the man trying to kill himself. They've gotten much more popular.
Yeah, but even then, it's connected to the start or end of a song. It's not 10-second tracks. It's not necessary anymore. I mean, it does help if you don't want to have it at the end of the song, because I think quite a lot of skits in the early 90s were before the digital age, and they were just on CD, so no one thought about putting a skit on a different song from the main track. But I thought they were okay. The one where he was saying that was Death Grips with whatever, I kind of laughed at that. I don't even know what he was trying to say with that, but
yeah, it definitely didn't take anything away from the album, but didn't add anything either. So it was kind of just dead space for me.
So songs that did add something, well, technically everything did if they're all on the album. But first song, G.K.A.C. I was thinking, is that Good Kid, A Something City, a reference to Kendrick Lamar's album. No, it's Gotta Kill All Cops. So, yeah, this isn't as much of a punch against police as Fuck the Police by NWA, but I'd say this is pretty close. I mean, this is really explicit and unapologetic on trying to basically elicit violence against police, but I'm pretty sure it's done in like a joking way. Most of this album is.
Well, from that song, I didn't really see him trying to say you have to kill all cops. I thought he was doing more of a storytelling technique. He talks about this guy who feels that a cop is an injustice to him, and then kills the cop, and then ends up killing himself because he realized that he's going to be screwed anyways. So I don't think that. I think he was doing like a third person like view down of this man who was feeling this way towards cops. I don't think he was saying that we have, like, us as people have to kill the cops. I think he's saying more like, this is a story about a man who felt that he had to kill the cop that had done something to him.
Yeah, I suppose. I liked the chase of the guy, like running after the cop and all that. That was kind of funny. The line "I'ma put that pig in the blanket" was pretty hilariously morbid, and some great imagery. So, yeah, I thought that was a solid song. We could talk quickly about the Danny Brown feature on Grandma Hips.
Oh boy, Danny Brown.
He's our boy. He's our boy.
Oh, I've just, every time I hear him, I just love him a little bit more. Kind of on a tangent. I don't know if you watch this show on YouTube called Hot Ones, and
No.
it's pretty much just like an interview as they eat chicken wings that get hotter and hotter every time.
Oh no, I have seen that, but I haven't dedicated like the channel name to memory. But I see it in like related videos a lot.
Yeah, Danny Brown was in one of them, and I think that I watched that a couple weeks ago, and I just think I fell in love with him again. He's just a great character, and it shows in his music. Like, you think he's this goofy guy with this weird teeth and the weird hair and the weird style, and he comes out and he has a weird voice too. So if you're not used to him, it's like, wow, this guy has a really high pitched voice and just kind of interesting. But I think once you sit down and listen to him, his flow is incredible. His rhyme schemes, the things he's saying and the way he's saying them, just, I think he kills it on this song. And I think he might even take the shine. He takes like some of the light from Your Old Droog. And not saying anything, but Your Old Droog had a good verse in the song, one of the better ones on the album. I just think that Danny Brown just took that away because he is incredible in almost every feature he does.
Yeah, I have to agree. I did say like Your Old Droog did well here, but I'm pretty sure Danny comes on and he's so delirious and crazy. Like, this might be the craziest I've heard him, but he's still fire. But it's a weird type of fire. It's like green fire. I don't know. But as we established in our review of Accelerator, Danny can just rap over any crazy beat. And the beat is like dynamic and
it's really whimsical in this one. It's like it reminds me of something like some goofy like 70s sitcom intro. I don't know why.
Yeah, and for some reason Your Old Droog on here reminded me of ELP a bit. Is that like the gold standard white rappers can go to? It's either the Eminem route or the ELP route.
Or you get stuck in the middle ground like Macklemore and Mac Miller. What do you expect?
I was thinking that. Yeah, I don't know that many white rappers really. I mean you can go back to
there's quite
Vanilla
a few.
Ice era, but you
don't
want to do that.
Yellow Wolf and all those. Most of them.
That's true. Yeah.
Most of them kind of get stuck in the middle ground. They have like a breakout song, and then they don't really do much after that.
Yeah, but there are people like there are more modern ones as well, like Machine Gun Kelly, but we don't want to talk about them too much.
Yeah, of course.
But we should talk about some white rappers a good guess, since we're already talking about white rappers.
Yeah.
This song is hysterical to me.
I thought it was hilarious.
I mean, but the first time I heard this, I thought he was black, so my context of it has changed rapidly within a few listens. But even so, I knew he was like ironic, but this is like a self-degradation thing against himself, like saying, "Oh, white rappers are rapping for boredom instead of necessity some black rappers have." But like, it doesn't matter to me, and is like the vocal sample at the start saying it doesn't matter what. You're like a guest in our house of black rappers, but it's one of the best on here, and it just had me laughing the whole way. Like, what would the raps have to say about Muslims and stuff like that?
Yeah, I thought that. So he has like one of like at least what I think is a more old school production on this song, and he has a
I
really
don't
cool like
mind that.
he has really cool vocal effects as well. Some like more disconnected, kind of like has an echoing sort of thing. But everything he says on this song is just funny. It's well thought out, well printed out, and
Yeah.
he delivers it. And like you, I thought he was a black rapper initially, until I went to go make the thumbnail for this video when I realized that he's a white rapper or
Oh.
not black rapper. So it becomes even funnier that he's just so self aware that, oh, I'm a white rapper. I really don't have a place here, but I do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
And I think it's just hilarious that he at least he acknowledges that, which I don't think is always true. I think that white rappers can have just as lasting impact as black rappers.
Well,
But
yeah,
I
true. I mean, Eminem is as known as like Snoop Dogg or Jay-Z or anyone else, basically.
yeah, but I just think that it's funny that he is so self evident that, and just aware what his impact on the rap community is.
Yeah, and even when I thought he was black, the next song I was already having, weird contrasting thoughts about that song because the next song that does have a white rapper on it in Edan on Help.
I
This
think
is my favorite on the album. I'd say it's so weird and different from most hip hop I've ever heard in a way because just how like psychedelic and weird it is,
I mean they
and he
had,
even gets a sample from Frank Zappa from Help I'm a Rock,
yeah
which is a weird one.
they also have the thunder or the water or whatever, something in the production that's really like something that Earl Sweatshirt would have done. I think something more
Yeah.
like grimy, something more like sinister, I guess. I think Edan was the better of the two features personally.
True.
Wiki had a longer verse on there, but
Verse, yeah.
yeah, but Eden had a more dense rhyme scheme that's just intertwined and just rapid. I think he also keeps it throughout the whole verse. I think Wiki just had kind of some more throwaway lyrics that weren't adding to the whole ambience of the song. But I think both show promise on the song.
I also think Edan might have helped on the production side of this one because I was looking him up because he impressed me so much on this song. And his 2005 album Beauty and the Beat had Edan mainly sampling like classic psychedelic rock for his samples to rap over. So I think he had a really strong contribution to this one. If not, he inspired Your Old Droog to the point where he made a song that like sounded right for Edan. I mean, maybe it was a coincidence that it sounded like the type of hip hop that Edan was making 12 years ago, but it's just a nice thing I noticed, and it certainly sounds like it on here. Yeah. So
But
I
after
didn't
that,
have a least. Oh, sorry.
I don't have a least favorite, but like You Can Do It, Rap Man, and My Girl Is a Boy were all kind of just very similar songs to me in terms of production and flow. I
Wait.
thought they were like they weren't bad for sure, and I think he's still like a really good spitter, really good rhymer. I just think that those were like the less interesting tracks on the album.
Yeah. The song "You Can Do It, Give Up" is the only one where I specifically noticed like the glitchy production thing that you said earlier. I don't know. And Winston Red, right? I do like this song. It's just one of the weirdest songs I've heard for a really weird reason. So this is where he has like a vocal sample, but it's so weird and unlike anything I've heard before. It's going like dum dum da da deba the whole way through, and it's slightly off-putting. I don't know. It's like not even catchy. It's just weird to me.
I actually like
I don't
Winston
know.
Red. I like how they had live drumming in it. You can like hear
Oh,
the
true,
drummer, and I think it's a really interesting topic. Just the first verse is just all about how cigarettes are just ruining his life, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was quite an interesting song. Just I thought, I for this one, like no, it really just depends on the rapper. I think depending on the rapper, you either choose to pay attention to their voice, their flow, and their lyrics, or you pay attention to their production. And I think this is a rapper you want to pay attention to what he's saying more than the actual production.
That's true. Yeah, I did get the like themes of smoking cigarettes and how it's a big problem for him. I appreciate that because it's still a big problem for people to deal with. Like they talk more about drug problems nowadays, musicians, because it probably does affect musicians more because they have easier access to hard drugs than most people do. Although anyone can get hands of it and wreck their lives if they wanted to. But most people have had some experiences with cigarettes, be it just someone they know struggling with it or trying to quit. So this is like a universal theme that a lot of people can relate to. I can't too much, but yeah. Bangladesh, I just wanted to touch on because it's I noticed like all the Indian influences, and he had Heems, who is a rapper with Indian origin. Do you like hip hop with Indian influences like this, Kush? I don't know if it was specifically Indian.
I actually really enjoyed that. I thought the production was really cool, really interesting, and obviously he's a good rapper. He has a great rhyme scheme and all that. But I think on top of that, more complex and interesting production. I kind of wish that rappers would go out of their boundaries and kind of take influence from other cultures to make their music not just more accessible to other people, but more diverse and unique. And I think he does that in Bangladesh, which is really interesting. I thought that overall the song was another good song that he put out.
Yeah, and I think Heems does really well on here as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
His like more slow paced and jokey flow reminded me of the MCs in De La Soul a bit, because they're not some of the best MCs ever, but just the group mentality, getting those jokey rhyme schemes together in De La Soul is really endearing to me, and that's what makes them a classic band, hip hop band, I guess, or group to me. So yeah, that was another favourite of mine.
Well, Alex, what would you rate this album?
I really liked it. It's not perfect. There are some production problems, I'd say. Well, maybe not production problems, but just different styles that didn't quite work. Because I didn't notice the consistent scratch, glitchy production that you did earlier, but and some of the guest features like Danny Brown and Eden, I would say outshine him. But I really like this, and I'd say it's worth any rap fan's time. It's just up to them whether they want to spend time on this, because there'll be quite a few rapper releases this week that are maybe as good as this, if not better. So this is just one of them that we have a chance to cover, and it is good, and I'd recommend it, but I don't know, there might be better than this, but I liked it, and I'm happy to hear that Danny Brown feature at least.
You forgot to give it a number.
Oh yeah, 7. Oh god. 7.
So yeah, I'm gonna give it also 7. I think that there's definitely some promise here. Given this is my first Old Droog album, I'm really happy with the way he sounds, the way he flows, and how he mixes everything together. I think there are some stylistic choices I don't agree with, but I can see why he chose them and why people enjoy them. Just they're not for me. They're not my thing. But overall, I think he has some definite skill. He has a lot of things going for him, and I think that if he has the opportunity of putting out an album that will just shake up him and his influence in hip hop. Well, if that's it, then thanks for tuning in Busted Speakers. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Let us know what you think about this album in the comments below, and check us out on social media.